Hello.
Hello.
Uh-oh, Gonky, you're muted.
I meant to say hello. Good catch. That was a test. You guys did well.
We are all from a deployed location right now, except Skid. Skid, welcome to the show.
I'm at home base.
Always deployed. Skid's always deployed.
Hey,
good to see you, Skid.
Yeah.
The best fighter pilots in the fleet.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Gonky and Mover.
So for those that don't remember, Skid and I did an awesome interview in 2021. We just looked it up. September of 2021 was the last time we talked.
Right.
And Skid has
We've talked
flown
before that, but
but A-10s, the F-117, the mighty combat war Talon,
yes,
T-38A, MiG-28.
Yeah.
And now
retired. Enjoying retirement, protecting freedom from behind or something.
I don't know. I don't think you ever actually can fully retire, my friend. You are the epitome, the epitome of fighter pilot.
Motivating the youth of today for tomorrow's air forces and the like. So
hell yeah,
man. Yeah, take them flying, get their energy up. It's cool. Yeah, it's fun.
Wait, what are you doing? What is this? What is this?
At the flight school I fly with, I'm not teaching, but I'm helping the guy who owns it, PFT flight training. We took high school kids up flying last weekend. It's part of their academic program, and it's just fun. You take them up for like a 40-minute flight. You show them their school. You let them fly the airplane a little bit, and I'm not giving them instruction, but I'm just letting them fly, and we're trying to motivate these kids to go on to be a pilot, perhaps maybe go into military aviation, and it's just fun. It's fun.
That's awesome. Is this like a charity, or is this just the school doing that?
The school contacted my friend, the owner of the flight school, and so it's part of their school academic program. So not a charity event, so to speak, but just a good time I got to meet the parents. Kids were really excited. They're young teenagers in 9th, 10th grade.
What do you use, Skid?
We have two 172s, N models. I don't know if you care about that. So just, it's fun. Got a little G5 in it, a little 430 WAS or whatever. And it's fun. Awesome. It's fun. Mach airspeed of Mach 80 knots on final. It's so different than the 38 landing at 178 knots or something. Oh my God, we're gonna die.
That's awesome, Skid. I told you,
it's fun. It's fun.
Skid can't turn the guy off.
No,
it's just fun.
And you're still actively contributing to the Make Them Tell You No Facebook group, which I appreciate.
I love when I can't help out with the kids and. Hey, everyone's got questions about this, that, and I'm speaking from my vantage point from 30 years ago, but I think overall it's a great program. Kids are getting something out of it. I have my tendencies about when kids say, should I enlist in a guard unit? No, never enlist. I mean, if you want to enlist, hey, if you want to enlist and serve your country, I love you. Go do it. But these kids that think they can get to a squadron flying job by enlisting the unit, that's just, don't do that. Don't do it. That's me. It's me.
That's good advice. That's not the advice a recruiter will tell you, because
the recruiter wants your number.
Yeah, that almost happened to me. I was like, wait a minute, this doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
Well, back before Make Them Tell You No, it was press to test.
All this number.
Number. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so much misinformation out there, but that's good. I mean, you stayed the course, right, Gonky? I mean, if they told you, hey, do this, do that.
Yeah.
A
little bit of luck sprinkled in there, Skid.
When I went through ROTC, and so at the the 2-year point, you compete for your pilot slot, and they asked me, hey, do you want to be a nav? No. Or a missileer. Do you want to be a missileer? No, sir. I want to be a pilot. Well, why don't you want to be a nav? I've always wanted to be a fighter pilot. I grew up that way, and I want to serve my country as a fighter pilot. Well.
Well, Skid, listen, man. I mean, to be totally transparent, your wisdom definitely comes from the fact that your dad was a Navy commander. So,
Go Navy.
exactly.
Go Navy. They were on that boat for 8 months.
Well,
All good.
Gonky, how was your weekend, man?
It's been a flail, man. My
I like the beard. I think that's the most grown in I've ever seen it.
Yeah, my wife's at the point now. She's like, "You need to shave that thing off." I'm like, "No way." So, no, man, it's been good. We're still up here visiting family. My dad is he's 81, and
wow.
He told me, he said, "Hey, he's got a really nice Honda Valkyrie. It's a big motorcycle. It's basically a Goldwing." He's like, "Listen, I'm gonna buy a scooter. I'm too old for this thing." He said, "He's like, do you want this bike?" And I was like, "Well, yeah." And so I'm taking home another motorcycle, much to my wife's not exactly. I mean, she's not super stoked about it, but she gets this. It's my dad's last motorcycle, and he's had motorcycles my entire life. That's where I get it from. I ride and race motorcycles, and I just want it, because and when I ride it, I think about him. So it's kind of cool. I'm going to throw that thing in the trailer, and now I have 2 street bikes, and I don't really want to get rid of my other one, but
cool.
First world problems, dude.
Awesome.
Yeah. So that's my way. That visiting family and taking care of kids, and nothing cool like Skid flying airplanes, shaping the future. But
Yeah.
How much longer are you on this Cousin Eddie trek?
Till mid-June.
Perfect.
Listen, this is look. I'm doing an experiment in poverty. All right. I mean, how long can I? How long can I be a nomad? So.
Yeah. How long can the fate of the channel rest on movers' hands?
No way, dude. No way. I carried my weight today. Yeah, it's going to carry us the rest of the way.
Douglas,
along with Doug.
What's up, man?
I went to range today.
Yeah.
Nice, dude.
Nice targeting.
Are any of those other pictures illegal?
You can't see it very well. I got a 1.3 MOA group out of my gun.
Wow.
Yeah.
The gun's still better than me.
That's awesome.
Made me happy.
Hell
That's
yeah.
cool.
Hell yeah.
How about you, Mover?
All expense paid trip.
Yeah, are you in Las Vegas vacationing? I mean, as far as Skid and I are concerned,
I am not. I am at training, and I got to sit next to somebody who was a case study in Boyle's Law on the way over here. Chemical warfare, and I don't particularly care for air travel.
I didn't know they let those kinds of people in first class. I mean, that's
don't say those kinds of people, Gonky. You're going to get us canceled. But it was there's goals out there, and they reestablish those goals every time you do something like this.
Oh yeah.
So I'm here, and next week I'll be in the hotel with Luna, so it'll be even better. At least she'll be with me.
It was too short a flight to blame the food, right? She brought it with her.
No, that was probably part of from the 3-hour delay.
Oh boy.
Sitting in the terminal eating beignets or whatever. Like waiting for the weather to clear here, because it's been raining, and every time it rains, the airport's like, we don't know what to do, and they had 100 diversions. Can you imagine 100 diversions? Yeah, that's I mean, what do you do? The infrastructure can't handle it. So, but yeah, man, I'm looking forward to a good show tonight. We're already 11 minutes in, and so far so good. We've got people, and we got some super chats from the audience already. Ethan says, "Good evening, gentlemen. Mover looking good in that hotel."
I agree.
You're looking great.
Thanks, man. Fantastic.
Super.
I should have sat in the chair. That should have been
the chair.
The chair. Might be kids watching. I can't say what it is. Janitor is back. Says, did Luna kick Mover out for having Mace on twice?
That's funny.
She was here the entire Kevin LaRosa Jr. interview. She was like enamored with that guy. She wants to go. That's because of Airwolf. I think it's because of Airwolf.
Awesome.
He is very cool.
Yeah. And then Thomas says, holy crap, it's moving in Gonky. The temp is 104 degrees. Oh, Gonky.
Yes, sir.
This one reminds me. Guess what I did today? Like 30 minutes before you showed up on the StreamYard here.
I probably ate dinner.
I bought all of the seasons of Airwolf on Blu-ray.
Oh, nice. Nice.
It's like
Perfect.
79 episodes. And then I bought a Blu-ray player because I don't have a single Blu-ray device because I was looking for it in streaming. I was like, I'm going to buy it and download it.
That was what I was going to ask. You can't stream it anywhere.
No,
that's disappointing.
Roku has something to stream it, but there's nothing where you can like download it and have it on the device. So I'm going to figure out how to get it off the Blu-ray onto my computer or iPad or whatever for my travels.
Awesome.
So I can watch it.
That's neat. Awesome.
But anyway, Joe with the Airwolf patch says, before we get started, I was writing last week, so watch later. Great show, but geez, what a one to miss live with Airwolf being mentioned every 10 seconds. It wasn't mentioned. It wasn't mentioned.
My dad flew Airwolf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was accidental because I guess I'm a terrible interviewer and didn't do that research because it never that was completely tongue in cheek. Because I was like, oh, he's a helicopter guy and Hollywood, I'm going to pitch this to everybody that'll listen to me. One day it's going to be Mover Fellow Hawk and Sinjin's nephew, Gonky.
Long lost.
Because Sinjin was stuck in Vietnam.
Yeah.
Therefore, it makes sense. Gonky. Okay, and then obviously Skid will be the next Santini.
Great Santini.
Great Santini.
Philip sports fans.
But anyway, I was totally caught by surprise, and I think somebody commented, both of our jaws just kind of dropped.
Oh, it was awesome.
Oh yeah, I don't know if you guys knew, but I used to fly to air shows in Airwolf when I was a baby, and the baby toys.
Yeah, I was conceived in Airwolf. It's not a big deal.
What? Conceived, born, flew, went to the first prom. Took my date in Airwolf.
Yeah. What? Yeah, little nuggets, man. Right? Like to him, it's just like, oh yeah, but man. How cool is that?
Yeah. Yep. What is happening over there?
I don't know. It's not me, man.
Tim says, Skid, how did you get your call sign? Did we talk about that in the interview? I think we did, didn't we?
Is that classified?
Is that classified?
Yeah. It's I'll swear you guys to secrecy. So my first squadron in Europe, RAF Bentwaters in England, 92nd Skulls, and Chopper Bob Griffin named me. I walked in squadron one day and he stood up and I'm walking to the hall and Skid. I keep walking. Skid marks. Turn around and that's it. Okay.
Never turn around. Marks. Yeah, never turn
around. Yeah, and don't make them think you don't like your call sign because it could have been Stretch.
I like Skid better.
They tried to name me Loins. And there was one guy who's like, "What's up, Loins?" Like he would say it exactly like that, Jethro. Like Loins, and I'm like, "Here's every case of alcohol that I could find to buy that off the board of my naming." I must have spent like $200 in booze. It was between Mover and Loins, and I was like, "There is not going to be a Loins Lemoyne." I can tell you that right now. Awesome. Like, Loins. He was calling me that way before the naming, and I'm like, please don't stick.
The Gonky and Loins show. Boy, that sounds terrible. That sounds horrible, dude.
Imagine.
Money well spent.
Yeah. Oh, geez. Just instant flashback there. Wicked Spider Black says, hey, interview pilot who do firefighting jets.
Well, if we can find one.
Denif.
Yeah, Denif. Yeah. Reach out to him.
Yeah. It's not jets, though. It's OV-10s.
I think I thought he was called in a couple different.
Probably.
Machines.
That's a cool gig. I mean,
you say OV-10 like that's not equally cool.
Well, it is, but I think those are the spotters, right? Aren't the OV-10s like the FAC A's? They're not actually fighting per se.
Using air tractors, right? Air tractors now, right?
Well,
that's what that guy, he hit the mountain, right?
That was my wingman, my buddy.
Was it really? Yeah, sorry to hear that.
First ever night air attack, and he got caught in that downwash. He wearing goggles, first time ever, and the 802 air tractor. It's a big airplane, but yeah. So
wow.
Yeah.
What's that been? 2 years now? A year?
2.5 years, I think. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
So just it goes quick, man. Be careful out there.
What did they say? What it was? Was it CFIT?
Well, he was trying to go into a canyon with the fire, and there was severe winds off the mountains that basically crushed him into the ground. He was a great A10 driver, hog driver. The guy was the man, and he got trapped. No matter how good you are, you can get hurt anytime. Yeah. There's nothing that says you're going to get out of this for free. And Thor, love him like a brother, just got caught. Jesus. Trying to fight this fire, the first ever, and boom, gone.
Wow.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, that sucks. Man.
Yeah, but
it's terrible.
Yeah, firefighting is dang dangerous.
Well, so is any air tractor, like crop dusting, like the T-Bear, what T-Bear does with the crop dusting. Those guys that fly low and drop stuff. They're
I one of my buddies I flew with in weather mod. Ron Chambliss, he was killed in firefighting. They were doing a DC-7.
Oh,
wow! And they crashed in the side of a hill. Yeah, so I mean, it's firefighting. I think in any aspect is dangerous business.
Yeah. Wow. Are they using the DC-10 or the MD-11?
One form of those, the tri-jet. Yeah. there's one of them there with three. I think it's a DC-10, dude.
Yeah.
Could be wrong.
On a lighter note, Patrick says, because Gonky is going to need it for the new bike.
Thanks, Patrick.
$20.
Yep.
That or the doghouse I'm going to be in probably.
Thomas says, for his lawyer fees, Thomas says mental health minute essay is impossible to talk to supervisors about. That's an interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know in what context.
What your essay is at the time.
Yeah. I mean, you know what they say, essay cannot be taught. It can only be graded. You either have it or you don't. It's kind of hard to do that. So, but yeah, if you got supervisors that are tunnel vision, I can see that. D Stu says, Skid, RAF Bentwaters, did you ever see a UAP while stationed there?
It's classified.
That's confirming it.
That's basically awesome. Well, that's awesome that they remember from your interview. Yes. I mean, they know the Skid lore.
Yes, it's true. It's a true story. As far as I recollect, the UFOs landed somewhere near Bentwaters in their late 60s, right? It was like late 60s, I think, right?
Hold on, let me write this down for the book. What happened?
Here's the coordinates. I have the coordinates for you.
All right, a sci-fi book. I need to know these things for my backstory.
Oh, dude. This is part of his exit strategy back to freedom.
Yeah. Look, I've written in the last 12 hours. I've written 30,000 words to try to get out of this situation.
Oh yeah, please buy Mover's books so he can go back to his home office.
I'm writing, erotica, children's books. Not combining the two, obviously, but I'm trying every single genre that'll get me out of having to fly commercial ever again.
We're gonna have a telethon.
I mean,
count them out.
I'll send feet pics if you need it. Whatever. I'm $20 is $20.
Money.
Thomas says, God, we go back and forth between happy and sad. Sorry, Skid, for your loss.
Thank you. He's a great man.
I didn't know that, Skid. I'm so sorry, man.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, we flew together in combat in Afghanistan, and the guy is the best hog driver around, 5,000 plus hours.
Wow.
Oh yeah. And just a great pilot. He was just got caught. So
wow.
Yeah. Theo says, if it isn't my favorite Agent Vance, former fighting Falcon driver, and Gonky. Jokes aside, great show, and you guys have helped me realize my dream of hopefully becoming an active duty KC-135 pilot.
Cool.
Sweet.
Awesome, Theo.
Hey, it's a job.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Good deal.
Well, if you set the bar low, it's easy to achieve.
Oh, it's the advanced age comment. He's mad that he's advanced in age.
I wonder if that's the same instructor that said that at my last time I was at class. Based on your advanced age, you've probably already seen this. So like,
who do you think I am?
I'm calling the union. Janitor's back says request for Gonky Bullies movies, Korean era naval carrier movie called Bridges at Tokyo Rise.
Yeah.
Dad served in Korea during last months of the war and watched this when he served at NATO headquarters in France. Also in the movie is literally using paddles, just like Wombat.
Yes. Yep. They literally used to use paddles back then to wave whatever else is.
Yeah.
That's why they call it waving.
Yes, exactly, because they were, whatever they did back then. But yeah,
do that again. Show me. Let's how.
That movie has Mickey Rooney in it. It ought to be pretty easy to ruin.
Ethor. Listen, Ethor is mad that I called him Ethan, and I apologize. But Gonky, that got you $5. So if I mispronounce names, that gets Gonky $5 richer every time.
Oh, jeez,
it's part of the plan.
Sweet.
Don't throw this back on me, man. Come on,
cash money.
Cash money. Hey, Gonky, you want to do your segment?
Yeah.
Actually, for the show.
Sorry. Yeah. Can you put the picture up, dude? I can't.
I got it. Hold on.
Yeah. So yesterday, 8 years ago, was if y'all went and seen IMAX Blue Angels, they talked about it. Jeff Koos, number 6. He was killed in Smyrna, Tennessee. He was one of my students. VFA 125. Great guy. He was part of a cadre of about 5 Marines in a class, and he enjoyed riding dirt bikes when he was younger, and that was kind of what, in addition to flying with him, we used to talk about motorcycles all the time. And he was just an awesome dude, one of the most humble, soft-spoken, but very confident. He just when you're around him, you could tell he was very sure about himself. And it's like Skid mentioned earlier, you can be awesome in the airplane, very experienced, very competent. Jeff, he was a Top Gun guy, Blue Angel. When I flew with him, he was an average, above average student. He just was 50 knots too fast and 300 feet too low. And it can happen to anybody.
Yep.
And as you guys saw in IMAX Blue Angels video, they're extremely methodical.
Yeah.
And regimented in how they train. But you can have the best routines and the best training and maximum focus, and all it takes is one time for something to slip your mind, and it'll get you. And it's sad, he had beautiful wife, baby girl, baby boy. It's very tragic. But he was a great man, and I just wanted to remember him.
Good.
I can't believe it's been 8 years.
Wow.
Yeah. That's great. Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Sad. And that happened, was it the same day or within a day that Thunderbird ejected?
That's right. I do remember that. There was.
So, I remember it because it was my roommate.
That's right. Yeah. Ran out of gas.
Tuna Turner.
Yeah.
Was coming back. They had done the flyover for the graduation at the academy. Obama was there. And when he came in to land, from what I understand, because the F-16's got the outboard cutoff or whatever. When he went to idle in the brake, he had just a little bit of outward rotation with his wrist, and the idle cutoff switch, it was engaged. So it shut down the engine.
Oh,
and
wow.
There wasn't enough
that's right,
to relight it in that final turn. And he just kind of angled it away so it wasn't going to hit anything, and jumped out. And he jumped out and he shook Obama's hand. There's a picture of him shaking Obama's hand. They picked him up, and Obama's like, I want to meet him, but yeah.
Can I get a pardon for banging up this thing? Yeah. Well, hey,
he's a great guy. He's a great guy. He survived. He kept flying. They cleared him. I think he's still flying. Awesome human being. One of my best friends in pilot training and B course. But that was the same time, and we were at the time. It was like, oh, what is going on? Nobody knew who, because at the time we didn't know if they were both. I really think it was the same day.
Yeah.
Because it seems like you hear one and you're like, because the news came out that there were multiple fatalities, like 2 crashes, and everybody assumed the worst for both of them. Yeah. So I don't remember that, but yeah, back to your point, I don't want to take away from honoring Jeff, but Coos, but I guess my point is that these people personally. They're not just Thunderbird or Blue Angel number 6. They're Jeff and my roommate, and
man, real people with families.
Exactly. They're not just drones out there. They're real people leaving behind lasting impressions, lasting impacts, and it's our job to remember them
very much,
honor their legacy.
Yeah, and the city, excuse me, the city of Smyrna still honors that. They actually have a number 6 F-18 memorial there for him, and they have. When I was doing a little research, they have a little scholarship they do in his name.
Okay.
For kids in school. So I mean, it's just sad. Rather have him back, but but I just want to remember him. It just seems like, man, the years click by as you get older. I mean, it's shocking.
It is. Wow. Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, man. That's always tough. It was the same day, according to our producer, 6/2/16. So wow. Yeah. Awesome. Gonky, what do you have going on in the background? What is
nothing?
Like somebody? I think it's anyway. Moving on to the news. China's watching the show, and not in a good way. So while we keep banging the drum that hey, they probably should look into this, China's like, oh yes, we've got you, Doug. We've got you, and
I figured out this time.
We got a video of them training from the PLA Navy. Check this out, Gonky. Tell me what you think.
This is the Navy?
Whoa.
Yeah, they're using first-person view drones, and this is their little. I think this is the same one that they use for the American Kennel Club, like the dog shows.
Wow!
But look at that, dude. They're going after people.
Wow,
dude. This is the scary stuff.
That's the future right there, guys.
Look at that. I mean, little backpacks.
Yep.
This is the scary stuff.
Send your hand grenade over the wall, man. Wow.
Are those Chinese soldiers?
Yeah, that's their Chinese SEALs.
Whoa. Dude. Gonky,
Yep.
I mean, Gonky, get away from the window right now.
Ouch. Ow.
Dude.
Yeah.
I mean, back to the question. How do you stop that stuff, dude?
Anti-drone technology, right?
I mean, unless you're like...
jam the drones. You got to jam them or something, right?
Unless you're like Wyatt Earp, dude, with a 6-shooter. I mean, there's... how do you stop those things?
Have you seen the video from Ukraine of the video chasing the Russian soldiers? It's pretty impressive. It's on X or whatever. And you see the guy trying to run away from the drone.
But you know what we do have, Skid? We'll talk about this a little while. Drone on drone dogfighting. A video came out recently. I'm serious. It's a real thing. Yeah, they're dogfighting.
Okay.
So we'll talk about that later. But yeah, as far as this goes, yikes. I mean, this is we've talked about the need for defenses, because here's my concern, and I've said this every time. 4 dudes, backpacks, go across the border. You don't know where they are now. They hide outside of a base.
Wherever. Right.
And China goes, guess what? Balloons going up. Get rid of all our fighters. And now it's just drone after drone after drone. I did see an article where they were looking into F-15E shelters at Seymour Johnson. They were actually looking at ways to protect those aircraft because force protection now has to include these drones. Like, this is a very real threat, not just from a Chinese perspective, but terrorists. I mean,
so is that I know that was the discrepancy, right? It's like, well, the Air Force is supposed to defend us from the air, like air power is supposed to defend, but security forces was always like,
Army versus who has the but that's a downrange thing. At the Air Force, it's Air Force Security Forces, the Ravens, all those guys. So it is everyone's responsibility, because while you can track it, what can you do about it? And that's what they need to figure out, is what can they do to prevent a 9/11 style attack or a Pearl Harbor style attack on U.S. soil.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I can think of is kind of what the Russians were doing or trying, just throwing nets, right? Nets over their high value assets, just to block the drone. But I mean, if you get a nasty enough drone, a net's not going to cut it.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a Skid, to your point, there was a drone video of a drone following like a Formula One car. Right? Did you see that one where it was? Yeah. I mean, it wasn't like full throttle Formula One, but it's still, several.
Was that part of the F1 program? They were doing it as a test or something?
I think it was a promotion for, like, they were like, oh, this is the fastest first person view drone. And it was a promotion because they're using some of that footage for the F1 movie, I think, or something coming up. But anyway, just scary stuff. And we'll continue to talk about it as it goes. But
do you have your drone license, Mover?
I do. I am.
You need a license for drones?
Yes,
for commercial drone operations.
Yes.
Part 107. I've got my Part 107 license.
What is involved with that? Is there an
online test? Well, if you already have your license, like if you're already it's just you go take a test. It's a multiple question test online. Send it in. You have to get an instructor to sign you off. So I did it while I was doing my helicopter thing.
Like a drone instructor?
No, like a CFI.
CFI, okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know.
Yeah. And remember, we had Kevin on last week. He was talking about using drones for movies. But
wow.
And if you fly above 400 feet, right, Mover? Is it above 400 feet? You have to have a license. It depends on the airspace. So you can't. You got to stay out of controlled airspace. 400 feet is usually that Class E, where it starts. But it depends. It depends on the airspace now. So now all the drones have reporting features like little transponders, and if they're over a certain weight, they have to have the transponders. So if they catch you, they know how to come and look at the serial number and go, this is who the drone's registered, because they're supposed to be registered to people and stuff like that. But there's ways to get waivers. Like I've gotten waivers from the FAA to do like cruising the coast in Biloxi because of Biloxi and Gulfport being right there. Like I had to get a waiver and say, here's the concept of operations. I'm going to call tower when I start. I'm going to call tower when I'm finished. And that's how I got those drone shots out there. Oh, cool.
But
nice.
Tom says, just saw the Blue Angels doc. The doc or the documentary?
Documentary, Mover. Just documentary. Let's get you over the hump. Let's go. Let's go. Don't get stuck.
I'm just saying, which theater? I just need to know where the theater is. That's all. I just need to know where to go. A really good movie and a nice recruiting tool for naval aviation. It recruited me. I'm out. The first 10 minutes, I'll sign up for anything.
Mover, my son.
Here's half of everything. EMP-like size of transformer, says Wicked Spider Black. Here's the problem with that. Wow. What about our stuff?
Right.
Good point.
Thomas says, Skid reminds me of my grandpa. No offense. Hard-nosed, noble.
What?
Not in looks, Skid. It's the no BS.
Hard-nosed. It's the nose hardness.
That's right.
That is got you there. And then Janitor's Back says, can you just put up mosquito netting on the F-15 bunkers?
That work?
Well, for now, maybe, but I mean.
So if a drone hits a Boeing product, is it like dividing by zero?
Oh,
like what is the?
Wow.
Dang, dude. Too soon.
Careful.
Check the windows. Check the windows. I'm too close to a window to be saying these things.
Mover is sane. He's happy.
I love my life.
He loves his life and everything going on.
I was just looking a way to go to the theater just now. We were talking about it.
Oh, dude. That's funny.
Yeah, it's always going to be funny. Hey, Gonky, speaking of Air Force, Boeing.
Boeing, yeah, exactly. Yeah, 4 reasons. The $3.9 billion new Air Force One program cost Boeing $7 billion and counting. So the current 747 is basically a modded 200 model, and the Dash 8 is going to be the next one for the president. 747-8, which is modernized version of the classic. And basically, the airplane has a bunch of mods. It's a larger airplane, has more range, more power, and I'm sure a whole bunch of secret stuff in it as far as countermeasures. But it says here in 2018, basically the Trump administration struck a deal with Boeing, and the original deal was $3.9 billion for 2 jets, and that has since gone up. So there's a nice little. There's some of the stats of the airplane, and then right. Where's it at? Right here, dude. So there is the price. 2018, 3.9 billion, 2020, 4 billion, 4.5, 4.87. So it keeps going up. So inflation really does, I guess, exist.
Right.
Even when you're in the market for a Boeing 747. But yeah, so 25% increase. So basically, Boeing's having to eat this, which is not given. As Mover was joking a little, we were just joking there. Boeing hasn't exactly had the most stellar year, so a little bit more bad news with them. Ever since I saw Air Force One back in college or high school with Harrison Ford, I thought it'd be a cool airplane to fly, but I've come to my senses since then many years ago, and I'm kind of glad I'm not. But I think it's a cool airplane. I think the leader of the free-ish world should be in 74-8 with the United States paid job, but that's my opinion. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think, Mover? Too expensive?
Well, you bring up a good point. That movie is great because the best line ever is "Get off my plane."
Get off my $4 billion plane.
I like saying that. Just as, in fact, when you land and you get off, and you say, "Get off my plane! Get off my plane! Get off my plane!"
Yep.
Actually,
it's a cool airplane, man.
Well, it is, and it's funny that they wanted a new Air Force One, and they're like, "Yeah, it's going to cost too much money." So they're like, "This is the price." Like, well, hey, we've got these other 2 that maybe we can reconfigure. Okay, fixed cost contract. This is how much it's going to cost. And now they're going to eat, what is it, $3 billion, the difference, $4 billion, something like that.
Which
it's almost doubled.
Yeah, but to spin it, it's like, well, that's $4 billion taxpayers don't have to pay.
Well, as a taxpayer, it's awesome. But
correct.
You've got a company that is hemorrhaging left and right, can't get the Starship like they've just moved the Starship launch multiple times. That is a huge disaster as far as PR goes, because it's egg on the face. Meanwhile, Elon Musk is every other week is like, here's another one, here's another rocket, here's another rocket, and then they're like, we can't even get the one. But it's they are struggling with a PR nightmare, and then you add on this, it's just like something. They've got to right the ship, because I agree with you. The president of the United States needs to be flying in the premier American, proudly built in the USA aircraft, but we don't have the proudly built in the USA part because we have a company that lost its way. And we have one company that does it. There's no competition. There's no McDonnell Douglas. There's no, there's no one else to do it. And so they're almost nationalized, but it's for the wrong reasons. It's not, they're just a dying company that
I wouldn't say dying. I don't know.
You're right. I mean,
I would, and maybe skid away in on this, but it's kind of like, I think the media is like, they're like piranhas, right? And there's Boeing blood in the water, and like any little thing, they just frenzy on it. It's just like, oh, look at this, look at these. I got a buddy who works at Airbus, and he's like, you'd be surprised. It's not that much different throughout the industry. So I mean, nobody's perfect. No company's perfect. Yeah, they've made some big mistakes. I've made big mistakes, right? But you're right, man. It's more egg in the face. But I don't know, Skid. What do you think, man? What do you think about Air Force One?
Mover, did we talk about this last time that I was an Air Force One advanced agent back in the day?
Of course you were.
No, we didn't talk about that. What?
Well, let's talk about this.
Yeah. Let's talk about this.
Wait, Skid.
In the Clinton administration. Hold on.
Hey,
hold on.
Gonky, shut it. Shut up, Gonky. Let him talk.
During the Clinton administration, I was an instructor at DM flying the Hog, the A-10 Warthog. And they came out with a special message. Hey, we're looking for officers and it's a program that's been around for years. It's called the Air Force One Advanced Agent Program. And I volunteered. I went and interviewed the Pentagon, 2-day interview, make sure you're not a crazy dude. And then you get your training, you get all the books on the Air Force One. And then I was going around the world helping Air Force One. We pre-advanced the airplane. It's awesome. It's really cool. I spent time in New Zealand, California, upstate New York. And you go ahead of the airplane and you work with the White House staff and you coordinate the whole thing where the airplane comes into. You guide the airplane, you park it, you check fuel. It's a really cool job helping Air Force One because that crew is the most put upon crew, as you well know, because they're always on the road, always going. And you're the liaison to those guys and gals on the airplane to get them rooms, rental cars, fuel. I had a credit card, like $8 million credit limit, so I could get rental cars for the Air Force One crew. And it was a cool job because I got to see behind the curtain about how Air Force One operates and works, and great people. And I know that they probably do need a new airplane, the whole cost, blah, blah, blah. But definitely I agree with you guys about we need a good American made product. That's the 800 is a beautiful airplane. When Air Force One goes somewhere, you want to show the flag, and it's impressive. It really is. When that Air Force One lands and it's like it's pulling up to you, like, that's a big airplane. And being a fighter guy, I was like, nah, not for me. I mean, it's cool. It's a great. It's got a lot of perks. It's got a lot of perks to it. What they're going to do with the program, I don't know. I hope Boeing gets over their problems. Have you ever toured the Boeing plant up in Everett? Have you ever been there? It's amazing. That huge factory. It's amazing.
You toured it?
Yeah, I got a tour a couple years ago. You can take a tour. We were up there deployed up at McCord, and it was like took a day off. We went up there and it's amazing. Boeing's an amazing company.
How did we miss this in the interview? Holy crap!
I kept it hidden.
Stupid.
I didn't want to give all away my secrets.
Well, so Skid, do you think another aircraft could do it, like a 789, like a 787-10?
Well, no, I think the 800 is a good, a 74 is a great airplane. I don't know about the 777 or, maybe the Dreamliner. I don't know. I think that's too small.
Like a bigger, how big do they need it there? What are they doing?
Well, you need
100 yards or what?
You got the White House security, you got the reporters, you got the president with those crew. They usually had 40 or 50 people on the airplane without the extra, press and stuff coming along there. So it's you want a big airplane and you want the range to be able to get to where you want to go. Do you know that when Air Force One goes overseas, they don't air refuel, even though they don't air refuel, they'll stop and get gas because they don't want to risk an air refueling unless it's a NAOC. Remember the NAOC aircraft?
Also from Air Force One.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was also part of the movie. Blew up the whole tanker.
Do you know the NAOC program, the white 747?
Yeah,
that's the combat version of Air Force One. If the balloon goes off, he's going to jump on that airplane, not be on the pretty airplane.
Yeah, there's always one running, right, Skid? Yes. Yeah, I saw one once. It had one engine turning, and guys.
They park it at Barksdale.
Yeah,
they keep the one engine running.
Yeah,
just keep powering the airplane, and the guys are on beepers, and you got a recall if they have to go someplace. They're gone. They're airborne within 15 minutes.
I would think for Air Force One carrying the president, you would want 4 engines. I mean, I know 2 engines are super reliable now, but I think you're going to stick with the 74. I believe that's what I believe. But yeah, I mean, yeah.
and all their maintenance is geared to the 747. So it might, why do you want to change ships, so to speak? So you're not going to buy Airbus.
Did you say that the White House staff had an $8 million credit card for rental cars?
I did. They gave me a rental card. They gave me a credit card.
How many points do you have?
We had to. We had to be able to. We had to help the crew whenever they came someplace or went to some location. We had to get hotel rooms if they needed rooms to crash, so to speak. Rental cars. I need 25 rental cars. Hey, put it on the budget, or whatever who we're working with, and it was. I never had to use it to that max, but it was a capability. I mean, they don't mess around. They're very serious about supporting the crew, and because they're hardworking folks on that airplane, and especially now during the election season, they're going to be going. So chopping around, and they'll get very little rest.
Did you ever get a tour?
Oh, I was on the airplane all the time.
Really?
Oh, yeah, it's cool. Way cool. Yeah, it's a neat vehicle, neat aircraft, very posh. I mean, I went up in the POTUS's little area where he sleeps. It's a neat.
Who generally flies it? Like who like the crew? Like who usually gets detailed for that?
So the 89th Air Wing at Andrews, the presidential squadron.
Yeah.
So you have a chief pilot, usually an 06, and then you have another 06, maybe it's like the deputy guy and a couple other guys. So there's always like two crews ready to go at any time. And but yeah, the colonel, the 06 takes the president. And during my time, it was Mark Donnelly and Mark Tillman, both really good gentlemen, great pilots. They're top notch. And yeah.
Did I know that's a classic? But did they get rid of the flight engineer, or is there?
No, they still have the flight engineer. They have all the positions manned. They have a nav. They have an engineer.
Oh, wow.
They got plenty of people watching all the gauges, and that airplane is pristine. They keep it so well maintained. It's very rare that they have to spare out to the backup jet, but they can do it if they have to.
That's
really cool.
Gonky, here's the idea. I know what we can replace Air Force One with.
Oh no.
4 fans of
freedom. Oh, dude. Come on. 4 fans. Dude, listen, if they use the C-130 for the presidential,
it would be like no, it's like what they do with guns. It's the cooling off period. It's like, oh, hey, we got this conflict. We need the president. By the time he gets there, he's either really mad or he's really cooled off, or he forgot why he was going in the first place.
That's true. Yeah, he probably forgot. Exactly.
Yeah, he's like, what is this? What are we even? It's like taking a knee. You're just kneeling out the clock at this point.
No, dude. No. That would.
You look good in that left seat, Gonky. You look good in that left seat. You look good in that left seat.
That was
a natural.
A natural? Come on, dude.
Top Gun 3 confirmed. This is Top Gun 3 right here.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, there's really nothing Top Gun about that picture, dude.
Oh, dude, this is the cargo. This is the alternate universe in which Maverick flew the rubber cargo plane, or the cargo plane full of rubber dog shit out of Hong Kong.
After he got kicked out of being
he screwed up this much more, and this is what happened to him.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
For legal reasons, this is a joke. 100%. So the people that actually fly these airplanes, we love you.
Yeah.
So don't get mad.
I think it's a cool airplane, man. Mover is bullying me. I don't know how else to say this. I feel bullied.
It's your future. I'm not bullying your future.
I feel oppressed.
I can't bully.
I feel like we need a mental health minute right now.
Hey Gonky, why is the C-130 pressurized?
Oh no, dude.
Is it?
I don't. I've heard this joke before. I can't remember why. Skit.
To keep the noise inside.
Don't hate us. Please don't hate us.
Kid,
I'm forwarding all my C-130 hate mail to you, buddy.
I love the Herc. It was my top choice if I didn't get something faster or funnier.
Nice.
That's literally everything. It's like helicopters and then the C-130. Like your criteria was I want something faster. Oh, okay. Narrow it down. That's the rest of the fleet. Oh, geez.
Dude, that's funny.
Hey, speaking of faster and funnier, so there was a C1 or a C-135B, also known as the F-35B crash in New Mexico. So this aircraft was flying from the factory to Edwards. It was a Lockheed pilot, from what I understand, and he was going to deliver this jet. And this is now the second iteration in which an F-35B from the factory, but last time it was an Air Force pilot. This time it might have been an Air Force pilot. I don't know, but it coming from the factory. And here's some kind of hodgepodge. The reason this video looks kind of goofy is because it is live photos from an iPhone. You know, when you take the live photos, Gonky, you might not know this, but some people use live photos, which kind of captures like a second on either side, and they splice it together. So that's why it looks kind of wonky. So here we go.
Oh wow.
That's not pretty.
Oh.
He did get out, but from what I understand, he was in serious condition.
Yeah.
Is that?
Is it? I missed it? Was he trying to take off or land?
Take off.
He was trying to take off. Yeah.
Wow.
He was trying to do they said that he was trying to do the hover takeoff or something. That's what I heard. So, oh God.
Wow.
Glad he's out. Glad he's alive.
Yeah. Yeah.
You made the right choice. Damn.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I mean, he's well past the end of the runway, throwing up that much dust and dirt.
Wow.
So, you guys see this? That is screens. Okay. There's some audio on here, which it's kind of weird. It's actually, it's just a weird. Here we go. Right here.
Albuquerque departure, Skull 24. Albuquerque departure, Skull 24. Skull 24, the F-35 just took off runway 21, crashed.
That's not the one.
Whoa.
There was another audio where he was talking about doing the VTOL takeoff, but I don't know where that was.
Was that? That's not the pilot, is it?
No, this is departure trying to talk to him. This is not the audio I was looking for. I thought this was going to be that, but anyway.
Wow.
Either way, terrible, man.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. I mean, imagine we'll find out.
Yeah, I don't. So a lot. So I did the video today about the 5 jets that would have been cool to fly, and one of the things I mentioned, Gonky, don't bully me, was the F-35, and people conflate the jets. Right, F-35B crashes. All the F-35s are crap, according to the internet. Right, so they're like, well, they're different airplanes. So one having a problem, unless it's fleet wide and common to all of them, which there are common parts, unless it's completely across the board, it doesn't. This is not an indication of any other version of the F-35, or necessarily even this one. This could be any number of factors, that are external to the aircraft, including pilot, environmentals, birds, whatever. I mean, there's just so many different things. We're not gonna play investigator here and try to figure it out and speculate. But what I'm saying is, it's not necessarily indicative of a greater problem, and we can't look at that until the evidence suggests that.
Correct.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. I mean, were there any updates? I know that happened a couple days ago. Any updates on the condition of the pilot?
I haven't seen anything. Last thing I heard was
he a Lockheed guy or was he a Air Force?
Air Force.
Yeah.
So it was an Air Force, and it was an Air Force guy the last time too.
Wow. Well, hopefully they find out what happened, fix it, so it doesn't happen again.
Wow.
Yeah. So it says right here, Air Force pilot was flying the F-35B and crashed at Kirtland in stable condition.
Good.
The Joint Program Office said the pilot ejected at low altitude, suffered serious injuries, but is in stable condition. This is as of the 29th, so we don't have any anything to do with that.
Mover did the Air Force buy the B model?
No, but they fly for DCMA. So remember those jobs you and I kept applying to about DCMA, about acceptance jets and ferry flight, because that seems like the most awesome job in the world. That's what he was doing. And that's actually what happened with the one in December 22. That was another DCMA guy.
Okay. So when they go there, it's basically it's for all three models.
Apparently, yes.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Flights okay are getting better, hopefully. Yeah.
So one in the May 29th crash was a TR2 because they're having delays. Remember, we've talked about the TR3 stuff, the technology refresh.
Yep.
He was being transferred from Fort Worth, Texas, to the company's F-35 factory in Edwards. But it made a stop in Kirtland to refuel. Man, that's a short leg.
Yeah.
It is short.
That's really short. I mean, I used to do Fort Worth to Hill in a Viper pretty easily. Kirtland's like right there.
Maybe he didn't take off with full gas, I'm sure.
I don't know.
I think it has a lot of gas internal. There's no reason why it shouldn't make it.
Weird.
Yeah. I don't know.
Have you guys ever flown out of Kirtland, guys? Albuquerque?
I've flown out of Albuquerque, not Kirtland.
Yeah,
Albuquerque International.
It's a joint use base.
Yeah, we've gone ABQ the civilian side.
Yeah.
Cross country coming back from Fallon.
Right.
Yeah, I've been on both sides. Mill side and civilian side.
Yeah. This is about 5,000 feet above sea level, right?
Yeah, it's high. It's like a mile. Yeah.
High, hot, and heavy.
Yeah, it is summerish.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Because Holloman's about 4,000 feet above sea level, but would you rather go to Kirtland and break or go to Holloman and break? Think about it.
Dude, I thought about this.
Cross country.
My first cross country in the T6 was to Albuquerque.
Really?
No, we went Santa Fe. We did Santa Fe. We did Albuquerque, and both of those were pretty nice. I did some hiking. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a beautiful area.
You're right. I wouldn't want to break in Holloman.
No.
Were you at Shepherd, Mover? You fly to Shepherd?
Vance.
Nice.
Yeah, Vance. So, all right. Well, moving on for the topics. I like that we don't have a time crunch anymore, Gonky. This is so much better.
Yeah, I know.
BJ, so to speak.
Used to be an Air Force flight.
It gets me every time. Every single, and I'm on a laptop now, so it's even more difficult.
It's like your dog seeing a blue car. Oh, here goes another one.
Used to be an Air Force flight attendant, missed being on those blue and white planes.
Yeah, the best. They took care of it. They were a great troop on the airplane.
Oh wow!
They have. Like there's a chief on the airplane who's in charge of all the enlisted, and make sure they're all taken care of. And these people are handpicked. I mean, you don't just apply for it and get it. You get an interview, and you got to have a clean service record, all those things, too, because you're working close to the POTUS.
I'm out.
Skid, I imagine aside from Air Force One, there's probably, like, I've just heard there's like a C-17 that follows it with all kinds of, all the gear.
Okay, you're thinking about the support missions.
Yeah, that's part of it, though, right?
It's called a banner mission. They'll bring all the limousines and the Secret Service vehicles on board. Depending on where they're going. A C-17 can't carry most of the vehicles. That's pretty cool.
Am I going to go to jail because of this episode?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
Because people would love to see that. Mover in jail. Ethor says, Mover, how do you get tracked into Air Force One as a pilot? Mover does not. Mover does not. Like, honestly, dude, I can't think of one mission I would rather do less.
Yeah, that has to be a demanding. Skid, right? It's the demanding. Like you're
gone all the time.
Life.
Yes, you're gone.
Hey, you remember
ultimate corporate pilot?
Remember Bump at the Cajuns?
Buffalo.
Mike Bumpus.
Oh, Mike Bumpus, yeah.
Great dude.
Great
so he told me a story one time of he knew a guy who flew Air Force One. And he's like, and this is back in like the early 2000s. He's like, dude, how do you deal with that? Knowing that the most powerful person in the world, the leader of the free world, his life is in your hands. He's like,
yep.
I don't think about it at all. He's like, well, what do you mean? He's like, well, as far as I'm concerned, when I'm flying, I'm the most important person on this airplane. Because as long as I get there, there's a good chance he's gonna too. And I was like,
yep.
I'm using that. So every time I fly an airliner, mover check me.
Good.
That's perfect though, dude. Honestly.
Yeah. Short timer says, I believe Air Force Ones had to be rewired to current FAA standards.
I don't know what that means.
Rewired?
Other than RVSM a long time ago, maybe.
Who knows, Gonky. Janitor's back says Boeing CEO gets $32.8 million in compensation.
That's a lot.
Gonky.
Yes,
Dude,
sir.
We could be like stepbrothers, split the compensation, and be co-CEOs.
We could be
with our tuxedo t-shirts.
That's right, man. You could run the commercial side. I could run the mill side. It'd be
the
perfect.
pan. What? You've got more commercial time in the last 6 months than me.
I that's about to change. That's about to change by the time we go to the interview. So
pay no attention to the background. Pay no attention. Hello, Mr. President. I'm Gonky. I'll be your pilot today.
He'd do a 180 and right out.
Could he do a 180 without assistance? Never mind. I'm going to jail.
Yeah.
He would shuffle his way out of the cockpit. Garrett says he could not get enough lift from the stovel. There's a top that opens up and lets the fan get air. It looks like the engine rotated, so he was close.
Huh. Yeah. I don't know.
Magic
Garrett, I know
sorcery.
you're hardcore. I know you're hardcore Marines, but it's still beyond me why they think they need a fifth gen fighter that can vertically take off out of the jungle. Like, come on. Come on. It kind of ruined the whole airplane, in my opinion.
I'm not going to try to say that name, but I appreciate you saying the Saab F-35 was great. I didn't know Saab had an F.
They have a what?
Saab has an F-35?
I don't know.
Taco Train won. Tacos. Finally caught the show live. Mover, your Make Them Tell You No vids inspired me to pursue my Air Force pilot slot, going OTS in a month. Wow.
Oh, nice.
Congrats.
Gonky, I sent you this. I'm not going to, I don't want to put this dude's info on blast, but we got a comment in the Make Them Tell You No Facebook group of a guy that saw the channel and he says it's me and Gonky. It's not. He just realized that the only barrier was himself and pushed ahead. And that's typically all it takes is just somebody to tell you, don't be your own worst enemy. Don't tell yourself no. Make some other idiot tell you no. And the 9 times out of 10, the answer is going to be yes, especially now. So don't self-eliminate.
And I mean, dude, he's commissioned ensign. He's headed to flight school, man. I mean, that's living the dream.
Best time of his life right now.
Oh, he's about to be,
This is like you're heading to the peak. We're way on the backside of the peak, but he's heading to the peak.
It's fun. Congrats.
Backside.
Yeah. All right, Gonky. We want to talk about Hollywood.
Hollywood. Man, talking with Kevin last week. I mean,
dude,
just how much effort goes into making these films good. But Jerry Buckheimer says Tom Cruise flying planes is really the start of actors up in their game in movies, and cites Brad Pitt and Daisy Ridley. So obviously Maverick didn't fly in the front seat of a Super Hornet, but he did do quite a bit of flying and filming, him and basically the cast to Maverick. And we talked a little bit about it with Kevin last week, how, like Midway, I think all the GCI stuff, all the computer graphics kind of ruined it. Whereas Maverick, even, if they're reskinning airplanes and stuff, because obviously there's no real Tomcats. I'm sorry, there's no Tomcats here in the States that they could fly in. They reskin it, but all the it's still flying, right? The G-forces, the facial expressions and stuff, which, man, it just makes the movie that much better. But
it does.
So, the popularity of that movie has inspired, Daisy Ridley. She's the first woman to she is playing the first woman to swim the English Channel. And, she trained for it. Brad Pitt, not Brad Pitt. Yeah, Brad Pitt. He's taking time to learn how to drive a real F1 car for his upcoming film. So, they're taking a page out of Tom Cruise's book as a hit. If you want to make it good, make it as real as possible. And I think that's a good thing. Yeah. I think there for a while, we kind of went a little too much computer graphics. And it's kind of nice to see Hollywood, get back to, just more real. I get it. It's more expensive to do a lot of times. It costs a lot of money to rent fighter jets and probably an F1 track, and stuff like that to get some seat time. But I think it pays dividends in the final product. And a lot of times, you guys agree with me, man, the devil's in the details, right? Whether you're doing a mission or making a movie, if the details are there, that's what really makes it stand out. So I don't know. What do you think, Mover?
You made a point about the G-forces, about how you can tell. And if I recall, they actually had to tell the actors to act because they weren't reacting to the G-forces.
They got used to it.
Yeah. So some of their action, they were like, you got to do this better because you don't look like you're pulling G's.
Right.
Because it was so like toned down from what they were expecting. But 100%. And I will throw this out there for the remake of Airwolf. I can fly any helicopter you want me to fly with enough training. And Gonky can sit and look pretty in the passenger seat as whatever you want him to be. Yeah, long lost cousin of Sinjin. So I agree, though. I mean, we talked to Kevin about this, and I love the fact that we're moving more towards authenticity.
Yeah.
And less towards, whatever makes a quick buck, whatever's going to be, because they have to. Hollywood has to. Right. In some ways, they're struggling a little bit with getting people back in seats, finding out what works, because you have Top Gun Maverick that went hugely popular, that did amazing things, and everybody's like, okay, what's the magic formula? Well, no agenda. Don't try to preach to me. Don't try to shove any agendas down my throat. Just have jets and a little bit of a story. It doesn't even have to be original, just has to be a story and more jets, and you've got a winning combination. And then, like Memorial Day, I think Memorial Day this past opening weekend was actually pretty low. The Mad Max Furiosa, it was the highest of the charts, but it was the lowest grossing for Memorial Day weekend. Yeah. And I think that's the message that you see, is that people want authentic. They want excitement, they want adrenaline, and they want something that they can go, wow, I forgot all the politics, I forgot all the problems, I forgot all the back and forth. People on any agenda can go, I enjoyed this movie because it was neutral. It didn't have to do one thing or the other. And I think that's what people want.
I watched a good interview with Tom Cruise, and he said that his job is to entertain. And if you're going to entertain, like you said, Mover, entertain. And I think, with Formula One racing, I mean, that's what made Days of Thunder, right? So, like, there's enough excitement and action with real cars and like real airplanes. I get it, like real BFM is boring, but real fighter jets flying, you can, it's exciting enough. And I think people appreciate that. If you get a little too far, with the craziness, people are like, that's not real, then it's kind of a letdown.
Tell me about a better scene than Days of Thunder when he says, I'm dropping the hammer, Harry.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and it's that shot. It's that shot as the car goes around the corner from like, dude, like I'm getting chills just thinking about it. I mean, there's no, like, that is the art. That is what gets people excited about movies, because they're like, hey, I can go see this on an IMAX and it's like, it's visceral. That's what people want. They don't want like, oh, I'm going to be lectured for 3 hours on how I'm such a horrible person and the world is going to crap. I can get that anywhere. I can go to Twitter. I can go to, Facebook. I can go to the news. I want an escape for 2 hours and think about awesome things.
Yeah. Cool.
What do you think, Skid?
Shake and bake. Shake and bake. Shake and bake.
Shake and bake, baby.
Shake and bake. With all due respect. Yeah, the real thing is what gets like. Well, obviously you got people who don't know. Majority of people have no clue when they go to a movie and they're watching jets do something, But for the people who are have the understanding and knowledge, we want perfection, right? I want to see a great briefing. I want to see some really cool stuff, which the movie Maverick did. It was like, hey, that's some pretty cool stuff. I thought I had rumors it was going to be all weird CGI, but they did it so very well. I mean, they really knocked it out of the park. So that's now the new bar, I think, for the next Maverick 3 or some other type of movie like
Mission Impossible.
And do you redo a movie, like Pearl Harbor or Tora Tora or something of that nature, where you can actually get real airplanes? It's hard to do because they're old.
Well, they did it in Devotion. We talked to Kevin, and one of the things he kind of commented about, and I think that's part of the reason Devotion didn't do as well as it should have, is because they left all the awesome footage on the chopping room floor and stuck more to the, hey, we're going to tell the story, which, by the way, Devotion, the story is amazing. Like the true story of what happened in Devotion is like
the book.
The book is amazing.
The book is amazing.
I hope they do. That author did the one you told me about, Gonky, about the Emmy. Luftwaffe pilot. Higher call. Higher call. Yeah. You know about that story, Skid, about was it a B-17?
Yeah, so Charlie Brown was a B-17 pilot. Everybody was shot up, and France Stiegler was an ME-109 pilot, pulled up. He's like, no, this is murder if I shoot these guys down. He escorted them over all the German lines out to sea and then peeled off, and they met later in life. But that's awesome. That needs to be a movie. But
that's what I'm saying is stuff like that where you tell a good story, but you filter in like some authentic adrenaline based stuff I think that is what the success model will be going forward. Yes. Now, I'm not a professional. I don't know, I just, as a moviegoer, when you're testing your new audiovisual system in your living room, what do you put on? Top Gun Maverick, or Days of Thunder? And it's like, there's nothing else to test a surround sound system with than those movies. I mean, that's the way it is.
Good point.
But,
yeah, dude, 100%. I'm looking, I don't go to movies very often nowadays, mainly because I have young kids, but also because there's nothing I really want to see. But the last 3 I've gone to see are Maverick, Devotion, and the Blue Angels. The trend is.
Well, you remember that movie, Gonky? I'm trying to think of the name. It was a Navy SEAL movie, and they used real Navy SEALs.
Wow.
Sorry, dude.
It's
on the tip of my old brain.
The writing was a little bit, but the having the real SEALs do it. Like there's this one scene where they've got the SWIC guys, so the special boat guys, and they pick them up in the river, and like it doesn't have to be airplanes. I guess that's my point. Is like it doesn't have to be airplanes. It doesn't have to be race cars, although those are both awesome. Doesn't have to be Airwolf, although that's awesome too. It can be anything. Just take the time, to the attention to detail, active valor. Doug, you could have just said it, man. You're one of us.
Right. There's 30 people in the chat saying it too.
Yeah.
If I could only read.
Yeah.
Please, someone help me.
I don't read good. Okay. Speaking of the chat, Janitor's back says, have you all finished your paperwork to join Scientology to get the Tom Cruise interview? Gonky is our interview guy, man.
Yeah.
I had no connections whatsoever until I met Gonky.
Come on.
I got no other skills, man.
He got skid today. Like
listen, I know some people that know some people, right? So that's my only skill.
Talk to me, Goose.
It's like in what's that movie with Eleanor, the Mustang? The kid's like, hey, somebody's got to order pizza.
Gone in
That's
60
me.
seconds.
Yeah, it's like Gone in 60 Seconds. The one kid that's kind of useless. Somebody needs to order pizza.
Hold on.
That's me.
Another example of a movie with real cars.
Yes, exactly.
And they
The
really
jump at the end.
But they really chased it with a helicopter, though. That was
that movie, dude. I saw that in the theater, and I'm not a Ford guy, but I would own an Eleanor.
Mustang drivers like Wombat, I'll agree. Adurian says Saab F-35 is the ground attack version of the J-35, built to NATO standard and operated by Denmark.
Huh?
Wow, look at that, dude. Learn something.
Okay. You say so.
Looks kind of like a Mirage.
It looks like it doesn't want to fly. Like it looks like all that drag.
It's like on that airplane.
Yeah. It looks like it's not a easily flyable machine. Bob says, I'm so old. Every time you mention Midway, I think Henry Fonda did a great job. And what's the problem?
It was a great movie.
Same.
Yep.
I saw that in the theater.
Really?
I did too. In Sense Around. You remember that? You turn the bass full up and the airplanes are, it's awesome. It's great. Yep.
All right. So Garrett says Marines don't need a runway. Ukraine is showing us that runways are targets. I would make the argument that it's the best F-35 in a modern day war. My opinion.
Well, maybe.
If only there were boats where you could launch aircraft from off the coast. Maybe have a catapult and a cable. What would you call that if you had that system?
Slingshot effect.
Yeah.
We had Marines.
Shake and bake.
We had Marine Hornet Squadron on my boat, and they seemed to be able to use the catapults okay.
Good.
So I don't see the reason for vertical takeoff contraptions. But I do listen. I'm just the guy that orders pizza around here.
Yeah.
Isn't that for their Jeep carrier, Gonky? That's the small carrier, the assault carriers. That's what they have them for.
Yeah.
So yeah.
They have those. That's right. I mean, I could use them off those, but I mean, they've been operating the Harrier off the small carriers forever. And when we had Mace on, I was like, I've never actually really seen a Harrier operational. Like, Mover, you're the only person I've ever talked to that's seen one outside of an air show. You know,
really?
Yeah, dude. Like, my entire time in the Navy doing all kinds of exercises, like never on the ATO was Aviate-B.
Really?
I mean, I mean, unless they're down there with helicopters, I never looked at that stuff. But like the real fighters, I was like, no, there's nothing here.
Stop bullying the Harriers, dude. Oh my God,
they're shutting it down. They're shutting it down anyways, dude.
The small country of
the
Marines.
No, look, I get it. The Marines, they like to be down with the troops and stuff. That's fine. It's just strange to me. That's all.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree.
Elias says, Elias or Elias? Seeing his luscious locks flying around on the bike in Mission Impossible 1 was enough for me.
But that's the one where he broke his ankle, right? Like
Have you seen the new one? Have you seen the most recent one?
Is it awesome?
Dude, it is. It's a good movie, but the stunt he does, I was watching the behind the scenes where he takes a dirt bike. You'd love this. He takes a dirt bike and he goes up the ramp. He goes up the ramp and then base jumps from the dirt bike.
Oh man,
I've seen that scene. Yeah,
that's pretty cool, man. You got to give it to that guy. He's pretty hardcore.
No, he is 100% committed entertainer, man. I mean, that's what makes him. So I listened to an interview with Glenn Powell, and I guess Tom Cruise told me, he said, he's like, it's your job as an actor to make roles great. Like make characters great. And I think Tom Cruise does that by doing a lot of real stuff, you know?
Yeah.
I
still think his best role was Les Grossman.
Yeah, pretty good. Fat hands and dance.
That is the best speech of negotiating with terrorists. Yeah. I mean, Tropic Thunder is an underrated movie.
100%.
It is such a good, it's so funny.
Dude, you're right. The negotiation with the terrorists. When I'm feeling down, I watch that scene on YouTube and I just laugh.
Yeah. Thomas says how the Army Air Corps saved my grandpa's life in the Battle of Hurtgen Forest.
Yep.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. Air power.
Hell yeah. All right, Gonky. Drone kill, dude. Check this out. You need to see this. We've moved on from drones that'll find you in your living room.
Through the window.
Yeah, through the window to the wall.
Hally-ho.
This is on the Twitter. All right, here you go. I'm just gonna play because we're gonna get demonetized. Check this out, dude. He's not really
control zone.
Yeah. Is it a kill if nobody's maneuvering?
Yes.
I mean, it is a
kill.
Yeah. If he's if he doesn't know you're there,
unobserved.
Wow.
But correct me if I'm wrong. The attacking drone had to sacrifice itself, correct? So this was a kamikaze attack.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Looks like it.
I mean, I'm assuming so based on the fact that the screen goes blue, but
ramming speed.
I mean, unless like an arm and a chainsaw comes out and cuts off the.
Well, then somebody filmed this, right? Yep. So this was filmed.
Well, that could be the surveillance drone that is not kamikaze.
That could be his wingman.
Yeah. The loyal wingman.
The loyal wingman. And then we can donate for another drone.
You can.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
Dude, I mean, he's in plane it right here. That's a good guns track.
Good gunshot. That's right.
In plane, in range, in lead, bullet time of flight. Here we go.
Guns.
Yeah, that's
hammer down.
But see, if we're doing the debrief, here's the TR violation right here.
Well,
so like we're gonna have to talk about some safety of flight issues at the end because
I mean, what could that
see this one again?
That was a pretty light drone that got taken out. I mean, just a little
it counts.
Single. Yeah, it does count. I think it's amazing. I mean, it's like, launching it. Go get him, boy. It just.
It had to be FPV. It had to be an operator doing that. Yeah, that was dude with the goggles and.
Yeah,
well, he did a nice job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he or she, Gonky.
Counter drone.
Counter
drone. Yeah.
Yeah, all this drone stuff is it is scary. I mean, that other video you played of like drones going through the window and ramming dudes in the chest, and like this video here, it's like unobserved entry. Just how do you stop this stuff? It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Future
sharks with freaking laser beams, dude. That's the only way.
Oh, dude. We're gonna have to do
jammer.
better.
I need a jammer, quick.
A young priest and an old priest.
Yeah, I don't. But Skid, we were talking about how even jammers, like unless you like jam the actual electronics inside the thing. I mean, a lot of these things are just autonomous, like self.
Correct. Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
Well, what you do is you get them with those little reCAPTCHA. Make them take the test to see if they're human. How many buses do you see? How many?
Dude. Oh yeah. How many bicycles in this scene? It's like, wait.
Actually, I say that, but like last week I saw a thing. A ChatGPT identified them all. Like it went through. Somebody presented it, and it's like, oh yeah, it's here, here, and here. Like
really?
Like I can't even do that.
Yeah.
I'm like, are you sure? Is it
getting
that
close?
Well, dude, you bring up a good point. When you combine AI with drones, that's when it gets real scary.
Yep.
That's Terminator scary.
Well, and that's where I go back to what we were talking about with the F-16 and the loyal, like all that stuff, dude. We have to establish the morality of this before we start employing it, because we don't want to get past the line. Because I think once you cross the line, it's like nuclear weapons, dude. Like you cannot unsend that. Correct. Once we get to the point where we have AI making autonomous kill decisions, It is. You cannot put the genie back in that bottle.
Right.
And that's scary. That's a scary world.
Yep.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to watch Terminator 1 again. Kind of rehash the whole advanced AI robotics.
Yeah. Don't watch the later ones. Watch the early Terminator.
Correct.
Just like everything else. Watch the original. Don't
watch the original too to kind of get a feel for where this could go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hey, Gonky.
Yes, sir.
Speaking of UAVs, this is kind of old news, so people are going to be mad at us. We're sorry. The holdover.
Yeah, well, it's new
and
news
it's Eurasian times, so
yeah,
for sure people are going to be mad. Yeah.
Well, we'll cover it anyways, man. Japan, May 27th, right? So not that
too bad.
long ago, right? I mean, back in the day,
last week.
It should have been last show, but we were busy.
This is last week. Come on.
I mean, back in the day, it's like, a week old news was still news. Anyways, Japan scrambles fighter jets to thwart new Chinese intruder.
Oh, wow.
All right. Looks like the Chinese launched a WL-10 UAV, probably surveillance.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see. It says on Monday, May 27th, a single Chinese WL-10 reconnaissance attack unmanned aerial vehicle flew over the airspace of East China, prompting an emergency launch in response of fighter jets from the air defense, basically Japan. This marks the first time this aircraft has been identified during an airspace violation response by the Japanese Navy. So there it is. In all its glory. Looks a lot like was that Global Hawk that we have?
Yep.
Yeah. So so they don't know the specific mission of that particular WL-10. They think it's probably just to gather data, probably to watch what the response is, response time. If I was gonna sit here and speculate. The drone itself, though, is a high altitude version. It's quite large, wingspan of 10 meters, common meters, as mover would say.
How far is a meter? 30 feet? What is this?
So let me translate for you. It's got a wingspan of about 30 feet and a height of about 6 feet, roughly.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, so there's another picture of it. Looks like maybe fuel tanks, possibly.
Yep.
Dude, I've never seen one with drop tanks. Wow.
Yeah.
Who'd they steal this from?
I think it's
copied this from
Jessica Biel.
Somebody. I stole it from somebody because they don't build anything.
Yeah, I think it's I think it's good looking.
The drone?
I mean, for a drone, I think it's a good looking drone. They've copied it.
Are you okay?
I don't like drones. This is a better picture here. I like the Eagle and the Fighting Falcon better.
That's an F2. That's not
yeah.
Isn't that an F2 or?
You're right. It probably is.
Yeah.
I'm not. I can't. You can probably tell because you flew the tail does look a little. Is that the? I don't know, dude. I can't tell.
Well, does it say in the caption?
No, it just says file image. Right there.
So they intercepted it and then it flew out of the airspace, or what did it do?
Yeah.
Did they shoot it down?
Yeah, Gonky, tell me what happened. What happened, Gonky?
Tell me.
They didn't shoot it down.
Oh, man.
It just the highlight of the story is the increasing frequency of Chinese drone operations near Japan frontiers. That's the highlight. That's I think they launched it again just to see what. Hey, let's see what they do.
Wow. Yep.
Right. And they just hit the stopwatch.
Yep.
Okay, how long does it take the alert to make it? Okay, cool. They made it up. When they launch?
What signals is it sending out at any given time? Can we?
What signals is it receiving and recording?
Yeah.
Yep. ELINT.
Exactly.
Wow.
So,
yeah.
I mean, it can be. Would that be like passively hostile?
They call it the Chinese Air Force. That's passively hostile. I mean, that's pretty much what they do every time, whether they hit our P3s or whether something else happens. I mean, that's what this is.
Yeah,
they're trying to light them up.
It's easy to make fun of the Chinese operation, but you gotta hand it to them. I mean, they are.
Oh, I'm not making fun of them. They are dangerous. Like there's no underestimating that threat.
That's what I'm saying. Is like it's. I mean, Skid and both you guys, 15, 20 years ago, it's I always thought the Chinese the hard part is going to be, am I going to have enough missiles to shoot down all these dudes before they get lucky and shoot me, right? But now it's like, if you go 1v1 with them, you're like, ooh, this could be dicey, you know? So, I mean, they're definitely upping their game. And it's just, they're constantly pushing buttons. They're constantly exploring the envelope, gathering little bits of data, doing some spying. I mean, they're in it for the long, you know, they're playing the long game.
Yeah.
I don't know, Skid, you've had a longer experience, you know, dealing with threat nations than me and I.
You know, I'm like you guys. I watched a lot of YouTube. I watched a lot of different, you know, brainiacs about China and what's their intention towards Taiwan, and they're, you know, they want to be do they really want to risk, you know, war, you know, to get Taiwan and lose their status and create the economic collapse that would occur, you know, versus they keep threatening, you know, hey, Taiwan's in our domain. We won't acknowledge Taiwan, right, or something. So, you know, but we support Taiwan, you know, for freedom. It's not up there, but I think China is going to continue growing, and you know, they keep you know, trying to expand all the South Seas, what their islands are building.
Yeah,
you know, Philippines, same. They're going to continue to try and establish dominance in that area. And thank God for the Navy and the Air Force guys there. Did you talk about on your previous show about Tinian opening up? Tinian Air Base. So the Air Force is going to fix up Tinian Air Base to use it as a possible location for our aircraft to use again. The one that we launched the Enola Gay from.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I mean,
so they've got a contract. They're going to rebuild it, fix it up, and we have another airstrip. So it's getting big there in the Pacific Rim area. You know that.
It's like an island, right? Skid?
Tinian Island, where they launched the Enola Gay against Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So we were last summer, last fall, maybe they signed a contract. They're developing Tinian as an alternate to Guam.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know what level, but you know, it's got an airstrip there, and they're gonna fix it up.
Yeah, it looks like Tinian is about 170 miles north of Guam. That's pretty wild, man. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting serious. So, yeah.
Let us hope cooler heads prevail.
Please, I hope so.
100%.
Please.
Yeah. Let's see. Blake.is. Epirus Leonidas is phased array for anti-swarms. There you go.
Phased array anti-swarms.
I'll take it. Take anything at this point. Just keep the drone from chasing me around my house.
Like a CRAM or something like that, Seawoods, like those things. I mean, if it can track mortars, it can track drones.
Yeah, but I mean, what about a swarm though? I mean, it's going to be like that scene from the Matrix where they're constantly shooting.
Well, I mean, that's what the Israelis deal with. I mean, the Hezbollah sending rocket swarms essentially. I mean, they're lobbing hundreds of rockets, and they're just it's basically just the Iron Dome. If you've got the range. The thing is, though, if you've got the range to deal with them, it's one thing if you've got a little bit of early warning because you know where they're coming from. It's another when the guy takes it out of his backpack 10 feet from you.
Happen. Yeah.
You know, he's across the fence. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the other thing is, you know, we're just talking and thinking about like single attack, but like, I'm sure there's layered tactics involved in drone warfare that we don't even know about now, because, you know, that schoolhouse hasn't been stood up yet where these, you know, big head types can go in there and just think this through as far as, you know, exactly how a layered drone attack would be most effective. I mean,
correct.
It's the more I think about it, the more I don't like it.
Yeah.
Well, that's what it is. Hey, Saab, speaking of drones, is coming up with a next gen fighter.
Good.
It's not a drone though. Sort of.
Yay.
Kind of not a drone.
Can be a drone.
So this is also a little bit older, 527, but they sketched the first details of their next gen fighter. And I love that they're talking about, let's take a deep breath and see where we're going to go.
They're honest.
Coded in flight code. Well, yeah, I love the practicality of them, but So basically what they're emphasizing is low observability, autonomy, which is that word we were talking about earlier with the precursor to Terminator, and electronic warfare capabilities. Here it is. Wow. This is an illustration that Saab provided of a concept. And dude, they need to put a fake canopy because it looks it just freaks me out not having
painted on there.
Yeah, I like
it. Paint. Yep.
Mover, single seat or 2-seat fake canopy?
Single seat.
Yeah,
it just needs something so it doesn't look like a blind bat. Like if you see a monster and it has no eyes, it scares you, and this scares me. So here it is next to the.
Don't be afraid.
It's not natural. But anyway, so they have studies on manned and unmanned solutions in the system, and they're looking at 2026 to 2031 when a procurement decision will be made. So they got some time, but it just to show you, I mean, Saab has had the market on kind of the in-between, the Gen 4.5 with the Gripen, and they're like, hey, we're not worried about stealth. We are going to develop a 9G fighter that's got an awesome electronic warfare suite. It's got awesome sensors. It's got awesome situational awareness. It can integrate with everybody, and it's cost effective so that smaller countries are able to buy it. Oh. And I think this is their like, okay, what's the next step to stay within this market and develop something that, it's not going to be the 6th gen that they're, that we're working on now, but kind of that, okay, what's next in between, like Gen 5.5, if you will. But I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think there's a market for that. I mean, I guess I really didn't think about their effort as more of a not a full leap forward in as far as a generation is concerned, but I think there is a market for that, man. Because I mean, Skid, you can back me up, but it's like the cost of like next gen fighter, bomber, you name it. If it has next gen on it, the cost is there's going to be a B in front of it as in billions of dollars, right? So I think Saab is I think it's a smart play for them, and I think there'll be a customer for that in the future, and I actually think that's kind of where our own military may have to go. Like,
what's it going to replace, Gonky? What do you think?
Well, I think about it as kind of like, I mean, and obviously way more capable. It's like, back in the 70s and stuff, kind of like the F5 kind of filled that void, right? It was an effective fighter. It wasn't quite as expensive and advanced as the then 4th gen new fighters. Mover and I talk all the time about like these super expensive, do everything next gen kind of things. Why can't we have a cheaper, almost as effective option? And that's kind of what I see they are working on here.
Really, a discounted 6th gen type vehicle?
I don't think it's discounted, Skid, so much as Saab doesn't suffer from the bureaucracies and the inefficiencies that we do. Right. They don't have the $1 billion contracts because it's Saab and the government. It's Saab and their government, and there's no in between. And there aren't as many special interests, and there aren't as many pockets to line and go through and all that stuff. So what they're able to do is go, put our best engineers on this. Let's make a good product, and let's go. Now, previously, I think they had a little bit of trouble with the Gripen and selling it because they were, we want to remain neutral, right? They weren't previously NATO, so they didn't want to sell it to, like, they were careful with who they could export it to. And that caused like less demand and less availability. I think now that they're a NATO country, I think you're going to start to see their aircraft in more NATO countries and wider exports if they can continue the manufacturing pace.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's good.
I think there's a place for, the Gripen now, Mover and I have talked about it.
Well, dude, look at the T7.
I
mean, seriously, Saab gave them basically, here's the T7. It's a perfect example of the differences between the two, our countries, because Saab's like, hey, we're going to do kind of like what we did with the T6, because the T6 Pilatus, it was already kind of, here's the aircraft. We just need an American manufacturer to make it American so that, we can
buy it.
fly. We can fly.
Yeah. Right.
They did this with the T7. Boeing gets a hold of it, and now we're never going to see the damn thing.
Wow.
Like it's
interesting.
Okay, just checking the window here.
No drones coming through the window.
I love my life. Actually,
happy.
Anyway,
I'm so happy.
But I'm saying it's they without that airplane is it's ready. It's ready to go. They don't suffer from that. And the Gripen is a great example because that's an awesome performer.
Yes.
And so if as long as they maintain this track and, by becoming part of NATO, it doesn't, corrupt that. And I use the term corrupt as in not corruption, but as in lose their purity and how they manufacture and engineer and stuff, because they don't have different hands in the pot. I think that, it's a good thing for them and for everybody else.
Sure. I agree.
Gonky, nothing?
Yeah, dude. I mean, yeah, we're basically saying the same thing. But yeah, I agree 100%, man. And if you need somebody to fly Saab,
call me.
Yes, actually, all three of us are available. Package deal.
We make a 3-ship.
3 for
That's
1.
it.
That's right.
Yeah. 3 for Skid will test out the fuel efficiency of your aircraft.
and the canopy integrity.
Skid had
now.
Skid had exactly three throttle positions: idle, mill, and afterburner, and there was nowhere in between. It was I love it.
It would be 2 if it wasn't for fuel consumption.
After all the hog time, I wanted to go afterburner.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. He was making up for lost afterburner time.
That's right.
Well, the stink bug didn't have afterburner, right?
That's classified. I can't tell you that. It's classified.
Son of a bitch. Oh man. All right.
Yeah, hey, the MU2 definitely didn't have it, did it?
Yeah.
MU2, baby.
Hey, Gonky.
Yes, sir. Another. Yeah, so
this
just
one
a
was
couple
scary.
days ago, another near collision at DCA. So Doug's got the video up. It's a little bit.
Oh God, what happened?
Is it? Oh boy.
What did
we doubled up on the buttons again. Hang on.
I didn't push or nothing, sir.
I got it.
Recover.
Knock it off. 1 knock it off. 2 knock it off.
Uh-oh. Movers got control. Thanks, Vass, for another.
They're staying busy.
They are. Yeah, especially at DCA. I mean, they've had issues. So basically, American Airlines jet.
Is the audio working?
250 Alpha Alpha, Washington Tower. Traffic holds in the numbers runway 33. They'll be departing prior to your arrival. Runway 33, clear to land.
Runway 33 on the
21
anymore.
yes, sir. Just switch. American 2134 and past the RJ and just hold short. Runway 1, be ready to go.
Okay, hold short 1. We'll sequence in front of the RJ American 2134.
Blue Street 5388, runway 33 clear for immediate takeoff. Traffic 2 mile final from runway 1.
33 clear for your immediate takeoff. 5388.
Picture 5734, best forward speed for me. Contact Potomac departure.
We'll keep it fast. Departure now. Recharge 5734.
Yeah, so he's already cleared at King Air to land on 33, and the American jet there is getting ready to take the runway.
Bad.
American 2153, 3 miles from bad. Visual runway 1.
Blue Street 5388, expedite to climb through 3000 and contact Potomac departure. Have a good one.
Expedite to climb.
Get out of my airspace.
American 2153 Washington Tower, travel hold apart prior arrival, runway 1 to the land.
To the land, runway 1, American 2153.
American 2134 Washington Tower, runway 1, line up and wait. Traffic, 6 mile final.
Here we go.
Line up and wait, runway 1, American 2134.
I mean, 6 mile final. That's a pretty good separation.
Yeah.
That's not the one we're worried about. It's this guy.
Here it comes.
Yes, the King Air. Yeah.
Oh my God.
And this is customs, right?
American 2134, wind 0405, traffic 4 mile final, runway 1, clear for takeoff.
He's not even talking
Takeoff,
about
American 2134.
Bad.
Jeez.
Yep. Here we go.
Hey,
Line of sight is zeroed.
2134, cancel takeoff clearance. Pacific King 0 Alpha, go around.
Rejecting the takeoff, 2134.
Oh, dude. Poor guy.
0 Alpha cannot go around. We were already on the ground.
Barracuda 2134, Roger. And go ahead and just exit at Mike for me. Exit at Mike. Jordan Juliet. Contact ground. We're going to resequence.
Wow.
No, we're going to need a lav break.
America 2153 and go around. Cancel landing clearance. Turn left heading a 280. Maintain.
Go around. Flaps 15. Positive rate. Gear up.
Clearance going around. America 213 heading 280.
You can pause it, dude. After
King is 0 Alpha contact ground.
Yeah. So after that,
there's no trash talk after this.
I mean,
you could have killed me.
Wow.
You know, he's like, hey, American, sorry, you want to take off again? He's like, hey, I think we're above 80 knots. They need a maintenance check. So probably qualified for high speed abort. I mean, obviously there was some bad a bad situation developed there, but I think it's crazy. Have you guys ever heard I can't go around, I'm on the ground? That when I first listened to it, when he told him to go around, I can't go around, I'm on the ground. I don't know. That struck me as really weird. I mean, I probably wouldn't, because he's probably in beta, right? Whatever the King Air has, he's in max reverse stopping. I mean, he didn't give him like a land and hold short clearance or anything like that. It was just straight up clear to land 3-3. And obviously a surprise to him that, hey, wait a minute, we're stopping and we're being told to go around. I don't know. That whole scenario is scary. It's not the only issue they've had at DCA, but I've never actually flown into that. Skid, have you ever way back in the day? Have you been in there?
Yeah, United. We went in there a couple times. I was an engineer, so I was helping do all the engine like stuff. But it's a busy airport. But it's just when you got these crossing runways, and I'm surprised the twin guys didn't. I don't know if the weather was IFR down to mins. I don't know.
Right.
You would think as you do an approach, you try and listen to ATC, which is talking really fast.
Yeah.
What's the picture at the airport? Who's here? Who's there? And whether or not the guy's like on final, like, why is he clearing a guy to take off over there? Like, hey, Tower, he wants to land or go around or just. So thank God someone saw it at the last second and they're able to stop.
Yeah.
This happened 2 weeks ago at DCA, right? Remember? They cleared a guy to taxi on the runway, and they're saying stop, and just.
That's what I'm saying.
Those calls.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's scary in and of itself, but there's definitely been a trend actually, which is
it's
not
just
good.
It's gotta keep your wits about you, man. Oof.
Do we hear the clear to land for the King Air? Is that on that tape?
That's one of the very first things.
It wasn't a lasso, was it?
No.
Okay.
No. Clear to land 3-3.
Nope, just come on in.
Yeah.
Because it looked like he could have done. I mean, he basically did a lasso because he was stopped short of that runway.
Now maybe they thought he was going to do that anyways, and said, just didn't pass it to the controller.
Yeah, but they would.
He's not going to take the full, but you have to get some acknowledgement, right? Lasso.
Right. Yeah, that's a specific clearance because you have to.
Yes.
Be able to say unable. Like
Correct.
in the Air Force, they told us, remember, no, don't take a lasso, no land and hold short instructions.
Don't accept it.
Yeah.
Couldn't you participate passively?
You could. Right? You just couldn't. You couldn't say you were going to do it. They could not plan on that. So
correct.
I mean, you could stop wherever you want. But my issue is the Swiss cheese keeps lining up closer and closer every time we talk about this, and we're in such a. I think we're boiling over almost.
Yeah.
We've had so many incidents. We've had so many different close calls, and there's so much media scrutiny right now that we're at such a high risk. And I always say, but for the grace of God go I. No one is immune. No one is immune. It's all the only way to prevent it is by CRM, cockpit, crew, resource management, and adherence to procedures and checklists and backing each other up. Because otherwise it's going to take one, and we're going to be in a world of hurt.
Here's my can I tell my worst story from Chicago O'Hare. I was based in Chicago. Have you all flown into O'Hare?
Oh yeah.
No.
Okay. No, don't go there.
Yeah,
and
it's a 2-hour taxi. You might as well like.
Okay, so we come, I'm the captain tells me, you call for pushback, call the gate controller guy, and pushback, tail north, do this, la la la. Okay, we're taxiing through the throat. You're going to runway 27. Now you're going to 18. Now you're going to 3. I'm on the thing trying to do the takeoff data for like 5 different runways as we're taxiing out. I'm like, this is insane. This is stupid. Right. I know they're busy. You're trying to keep everyone going, but that's where something's going to break down, and you're going to have what moment, and whether you rub wing tips or something, and just now, oh god, man. So that's what I tell guys.
They've had wing that part has happened.
Yes.
I mean, there's been a lot of tips touching.
Yes.
In the industry lately.
Yeah, it's just bad.
I'm worried about the Tenerife, because this would have been the same as what happened in Japan, because this just happened in Japan, almost identical, where it was their maritime, wasn't it like a very similar turboprop?
Yeah, sitting on the runway.
Five-seater. Yep.
Luckily for the passengers, they survived, and unfortunately for the crew of the smaller airplane, that's who died. But nobody should die. Nope. That's the thing.
Preventable mishaps.
I don't know what the. I don't really have any experience. I've been up in the control tower and stuff, and in approach control, and kind of watched their operation. But like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I guess when I'm flying, I feel like I have decent SA by listening to the radio. But the problem is we're not listening to all the freaks, right? There's different freaks for approach, and then there's tower on the end game, and like I wonder. I kind of wonder specifically at DCA, kind of like is there a common breakdown point? That
capacity. Happening? I think it's capacity, and I think somebody in the chat actually, I just saw this and it reminded me of what we were talking about last night. Too much traffic at the hubs, not enough time spacing. So last night I was sitting in the boarding area. I was just talking to one of the other passengers. We were talking about do you remember it being this bad? Because I went 4 years and didn't spin a wheel and stayed away from commercial air travel until recently, and I've never seen it this congested as it is now. And I think there's multiple facets. He kept saying, well, there's a pilot shortage, that's why. I don't think it's a pilot shortage. I think there's an infrastructure problem. I think we have tried to stuff too many people into this one bottleneck. And when things go wrong, there's no capacity. Like DFW had 100 diverts last night.
Wow.
And it's because you're putting too many people, when back in the early 2000s, Skid, when you were, flying the airlines and stuff, how many times were flights oversold or just sold out in general? Like, how often did you ever see that? You just didn't. Well, it wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, you got a full flight. Okay, it's a game they play to max out the airplane because they know people are gonna not make the sortie, make the flight, whatever.
Yeah.
And then the day they all show up is oh crap! Now you got to start offering bonuses or something.
That was rare back then, right? That wasn't like commonplace.
I don't know. It depended on the is it a holiday weekend or whatever or something.
It seems like now. It just seems like now it's the norm. And I think the fact that we've made it so accessible, which is good in some ways, but the fact that it's accessible means we don't have the capacity for as many people that are flying. Because when something goes wrong, we've got no place to put these people. You cancel one flight, you've got 140 people that now have to go to the next flight that was already oversold. And so you're putting more planes in a congested system that wasn't designed to take that. We haven't done enough upgrades. We don't have enough gates. We don't have enough runways. We don't have enough backup airports.
Correct.
We don't have enough ways to service this. And when you get a bottleneck, you get constant traffic. And DCA is a great example because, that's the capital, right? That's the major servicing airport for the capital. And there's not a lot of room for error when you have so much stuff trying to be shoved into one place. And I think that's what causes mistakes. If you you almost have to throttle back. You have to make it more expensive and harder for people to fly to get reduced capacity, which is tough on the airlines because they're like, well, wait a minute, we want every seat filled, but when every seat's filled, you don't have the staff for it. You just I think we're just operating over red line right now.
Correct.
You bring up a good point. I remember flying back in the 80s and it it didn't seem like every flight. I remember I actually have like VHS footage of me on like an L-1011, and it's like me and 50 of my friends on this thing, right? And it's a big airplane. Yeah, you got a point, man. Well, definitely back then, tickets were, they were more expensive. Like we didn't have internet with cheap fares and all this stuff.
Dude, Doug, 2016 when I first got hired, and we were non-revving, we could actually non-rev places. Dude, you try to non-rev today.
Those were the good old days 5 years ago.
Yeah. Well,
you can't go anywhere.
Hate to tell you, Doug, but it was 8 years ago now.
All right.
I wish it was 5 years, but hate to tell you, but that was almost a decade ago. But
not revving.
But that's my point is, like, I think post-COVID, we had an explosion of demand because everybody's like, oh, I got to travel again. I don't want to miss out on a thing. And because a lot of airlines have shifted to we're a credit card company that flies airplanes. And so they make their profit off of selling to the most people. They take the loss on the seat miles because they're like, fill up the seats, get the credit card sold, move at capacity. But then as soon as something goes wrong, it cascades. You don't have enough capacity at the airports, DFW, DCA, New York. Like it's too many. And it's just like traffic, man. When you've got old infrastructure with roads and you build all these subdivisions and stuff, you go from, hey, I used to be able to get there in 10 minutes to, oh, it's a 35-minute drive or an hour drive. Except now we run airplanes together. You can run cars together and maybe not kill somebody, but you run airplanes together, it's national news.
Oh yeah.
Bad.
That's all I have to say about that.
So to respond to Steve, he says it's not too many passengers, it's a bandwidth problem. Too many passengers causes more airplanes, which causes bandwidth problems.
Right.
It's because of demand.
Yes.
If you've got everybody wanting to travel on a $50 fare, you just say, oh, well, that's a popular route. Let me put more airplanes on it. And then your competitors put more airplanes on it. And next thing you know, you're fighting for time slots into the same place. It is a passenger problem because without passengers, you're not having airplanes aren't just flying themselves into DCA.
Nope.
Yeah. I mean, they could use bigger airplanes, but
DCA is a short runway. DCA is a short runway.
That's true. Yeah.
You know why they keep DCA open? Because of Congress.
Yeah.
They have Dulles. You go out to Dulles, which has got, a lot of miles of runway and it's very well set up, but they want to keep Reagan open because it's close to the Capitol. That's why they're doing it. It's a congressional thing. They should close Reagan down, and just everyone goes out of Dulles, but the Congress doesn't want that.
Wow.
So
I didn't know that.
LaGuardia is packed,
Did you ever do the river visual skid? It's a fun approach.
We did. Yep. It was awesome.
Cool. It's like flying a low level.
It is. It was way cool. Yeah. I felt very proud. Like, hey, this is pretty cool. So,
for a fatty.
But if you've got that much traffic going into that little airport, you're mixing, the turboprop with the big jets, and at least here at Panama City, we got one runway, right? And it's pretty easy to sort out, who's going first. Hey, airliners got priority. They're the money. Hey, I'll sit there in my little 172. Hey, I'll wait for you guys. You're the money. And don't crump the runway, right? Because if you send a Southwest around because you blew a tire on the runway, you're like, oops, sorry.
Cool.
That's like $10,000.
Well, we saw that at Eglin. They started putting more commercial traffic in there, and we're sitting there going, "When are we ever going to take off?"
Really?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Dude, I would like on aux to Gonky, like, dude, this feels like LaGuardia. Because we're sitting there in the queue just trying to take off with all the airliners taking off and landing and the sequencing and stuff. And
I know they sent the airlines there at Destin a notice saying, hey, can you reduce your flights? Can't handle with military operations going on. I mean, to me, it always seemed like, let's do the 50 plane exercise at the exact same time every airliner is trying to get out, or come in, right? I mean, like, it's like they would somehow it would happen at the same time with no planning, right? And then obviously then we'd have you would be bingo on takeoff in the T-38. It's like,
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Bad.
Yeah.
it's like, I can't do this, you know?
Only place I've ever declared emergency fuel twice.
Yeah.
Really?
Because you have to.
Mhm.
Had to.
Wow.
Mhm. Yeah, because the first time I did it, I declared men fuel, and they're like, "Okay, let us know when your emergency fuel." I'm like, "Well, guess what? That just happened."
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Hey, Gonky, you want to talk about mental health? Speaking of stuff,
Yeah, you go ahead, dude.
I'll start. So today's mental health minute is missed opportunities, which I thought was interesting because two things that kind of triggered this. One, the MH139 video came out last week. I've shared it on my Facebook page. Awesome video. Everybody's got a GoPro mount on their helmet, which that obviously brings back some memories. But seeing that, and then I made the comment post. I don't know if we've talked about this publicly, Gonky, but you and I were pretty much going to go fly the MH139, and it was taken from us for different reasons.
Yep.
Wow.
And I talked about it in the 5 things. I kind of alluded to, I had an F-22 slot that ended up not working out. And then later when Hurricane Michael, before the MH139, Gonky and I probably should have flown the F-35 because, we had a certain general come in and say, we'll take care of you, as any good leader should, except it didn't happen. Yeah. So the mental health part of this is not to say, well, yeah, bad things happen to you, but to say, well, what happens when you have an opportunity and it doesn't work out for whatever reason, whether it's outright denied, it's taken from you, you get rejected or whatever. How do you move on? And I was thinking of sometimes there's a country music song about unanswered prayers. Sometimes you thank God for unanswered prayers, because if you look at the bigger picture, and I think this is, to me, it's the easiest way to kind of cope with it, especially in the moment. Because in real time, you're like, man, life sucks. I don't know what to do. Yeah. I mean, this is it's hard to believe it's going to work out. But often when you look back at that, you look, well, if I'd done that, like, let's say I'd taken the F-22 job, this channel would not exist. The books that I've written would not exist. The channel would not exist. I'd be in a totally different path in my life. And without this channel, the Make Them Tell You No groups wouldn't exist. The people that have then become fighter pilots as a result of this channel, maybe not. I don't know, So I think when it comes to something like that and a missed opportunity, you can wallow in your own self-pity and go, man, my life sucks. Or you can reframe it. You can reframe it and go, I may not know the reason now, but I know I'm being funneled to something greater and it's going to work out. And I'll look back and go, if I'd have taken that job, I'm glad it didn't work out, because this is my path. Now, in the moment, it still sings. And like right now, when I look at the MH139 video, I'm like, God, that would have been pretty fun. Or if I look at the F-35, I'm like, yeah, she ain't that good looking, but it would have been a fun jet to fly. And the ego of it. But in the end, I think a lot of people will tell you it works out. And it worked out for a reason. So Gonky, over to you, man.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know, I obviously I'm a Christian, and I put a lot of faith that God's got a plan for me.
Same.
I try to follow what I think, his will is for me, to the best of my ability. And, like you said, Mover, I put in for the helicopter gig like you did, and it was looking good. Then it didn't happen. And I can't sit here as just a regular person and begin to understand what, a divine power has in store for me. So that's kind of how I cope with it. Wow. I'm not all knowing, but I believe in somebody that is, and all I can do is the best that I can do down here. And you talked about it, and it really is true. I won't say they're missed opportunities or failures. Maybe some of them can be failures, but those experiences will help shape you for whatever it is you're actually supposed to be doing in the future. So, I believe, God uses experiences and stuff to shape you, right? to either harden you or make you wiser,
Mm-hmm.
give you the experience, the tools you need to do whatever it is that you're called to do. So that's how I deal with it and look at it. I think I've had a lot of missed opportunities in my life, right? I applied 3 or 4 times just to get into the military. Got denied a lot for various reasons, but that's kind of my take. It's very similar to kind of what you just said. I have, I have a Christian viewpoint on it, but yeah, man, you got 2 choices, man. You can just stop or you can keep going, right? When missed opportunities happen, and like you just don't want to stop, man. Keep going, because you never know what's behind the next door. Skid, what do you think, man?
Good words from both you guys, and everyone's got their story of, there I was, or I had this chance to do this. Like, I was actually, in college, I was, applying for, I want to be a pilot, ROTC unit, right? And, things weren't looking good at one point. So I went to the Marine Air program, and the Marine Air guy, hey, we like you. You might be a good fit. Marine pilot, that'd be cool. They had some great stuff. The advertising used to have back in the day was incredible. But I had a little problem with it's called a PFT. we go out, we do this PFT, and I am dying. We need 50 pull-ups, we need 1,000 sit-ups, we need 3 miles in 2 minutes. And I come back, and I'm not, I don't know, I wasn't a decathlete, but I come back, I'm just like, he goes, Jim, we really like you. You make a great Marine officer. And so I went home, and I kind of say, hey, Dad, what do you think? My ex-naval officer or retired naval officer. And he goes, go Air Force, just go back and try again. And things turned around. The Air Force offered me my pilot slot. I'm like, thank you, Jesus. And, I'm the luckiest. I'm the Forrest Gump kid, just smart enough to get by, get through the ringer, so to speak. But you can't let anything back to your mental health. You cannot let it get you down. You got to, everyone has their, I wish I'd done that, could have done that. You got to have an optimistic outlook. You got to look towards the future, and I'm going to do something different. I'm going to do, don't make them tell hey, your eyesight's off by a whatever. What can I do legally to get it fixed up and get it back to better without, cheating or doing, now you get LASIK and all this other stuff. So you got to try to find solace in what you've done. And even if you've tried and you've been told no, do something else, try to, keep going forward, make life better for yourself and your family, and, be upbeat, but you can't stew on it. That's when you get into bad areas. We all know, we all have friends, and we may have done something wrong, and like, oh, they can't let it go. And when you can't let it go, then it's going to eat you up, and it's going to make you a bad person, or, feel bad inside, and you might do something, something not good. But I think, just like you said, talk to your friends and family. Don't keep it a secret to yourself. Share your mistakes. And hey, I screwed up, like the Blue Angels, or the Blue Angels, right? Just glad to be here, boss. I'm just glad to be here.
Right.
I'm flying. I saw that movie. I was like, oh my God, how do they do that? That close thing. What's they call that? The very close. Oh my God. I'd be I'm out.
It's mostly the jet, Skid.
Yeah. If I had a G suit, I need a G suit when I fly my jet.
Thanks, Skid. That was awesome.
Douglas,
thank you, guys.
I think we're to the point now where we can use a referral back to mental health minutes. We do that in the academic business. It's like, for this point, see this article. This one sounded a lot like comparison being the thief of joy. But yeah, all 3 of you hit on this one piece that you have to decide whether to internalize things like this, whether to internalize missed opportunities, and take a reality check. And if you didn't have control over it, don't, like Skid said, don't let it eat you up.
Thank you.
If it's your faith or your family or your friends who let you, help you with that reality check, it's like, dude, it wasn't your fault. Move on.
Well, so I'd also point out that, forged in the fires of adversity, no one lives a utopian life. If you had, we as humans, what separates us from animals and other things is that higher level of thinking, but that some of that is derived from comparison and contrast. And so if everything were good all the time, you wouldn't know what good was because you had nothing to compare it or contrast it to. Mm-hmm. So a lot of that building of character and appreciating the good times comes with enduring the bad times. And it's not that you have to go out and intentionally endure bad times, but you have to see the opportunity in the bad times and use it as a way to make you a better person, a stronger person, so that when the good times show up, you're able to enjoy them.
Good. Spot on.
Yeah.
Oh, I was waiting for you, Gonky. I'm just looking at you.
Yeah, I don't know what to say, man.
Group hug.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
If you shack the target, dude, there's nothing left for me to hit.
Well, you could say like good hits one,
Good hits one.
Just jack. I need a little positive reinforcement here.
I said you shacked it.
Yeah, something.
Is that not an all
right, whatever.
You shacked my mental health, mover.
Without Gonky's bullying, I would never know compliments. So it's like it's the yin and the yang. Without small countries, Gonky would never know the big countries.
All countries are now the same size, dude.
We love countries.
All countries, same size, same.
Same. Hey, we got some things from the audience before we shut this down for the night. Wicked Spider Black, say that 3 times fast. Can Gonky and Mover on Joe Rogan after Next Step Up?
Oh, hold on, let me call him and get us right on there.
I'm in.
Love to be on his show, but
yeah, cool. Joe does sim racing. That's our angle.
There you go.
Do some iRacing with him.
Dan O'Grady says, dang it, missed most of the pod at work. Hope you're all well. Got to spend my birthday looking at CF100s and 101 Voodoos. Cool. Hell yeah. Congratulations. Cool. Happy birthday. Yeah. Another lap around the sun. Janitor is back, says high-speed rail is the answer. I think there's a small country called California that built a quarter mile for $2 billion.
$2 billion, yeah.
They can lead the way on that one.
Yeah, bridge to nowhere.
Colin says, why can't airlines use wide bodies for domestic routes like they do in Japan to handle demand, but put less aircraft in the air to ease congestion? Because we're not buying wide bodies because of certain companies having trouble.
Money. Cost.
Well, that too, and I think for the business traveler, they want to have flights every couple hours. So I mean, if you had a 747, it'd probably be overkill. Yeah, it'd handle all the flights for one day, but what if your business traveler needs something different? I think that's also
misconnects,
right?
All that stuff. It becomes a thing. But they do. I mean, they do use 787s and 777s on domestic routes. I mean, there's Miami to LA, Miami to Philly. Miami to Dallas. Miami to Dallas has a whole bunch of wide body routes. Angie says, I've flown 49 flights this year. What is that, Doug?
Wow. Oh my God.
What is this?
It looks like a weather system.
That's the answer to no, it's the answer.
Oh, that's what Japan looks like.
Well, yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. No, they're all the same size, Doug. I'm not talking about you tried to bait me there. I see what you did.
No, it was a question about trains and airplanes, Gonky. It had nothing to do with size.
No, that was close. Man, I almost fell for that.
Can we get to Angie's, please? Thank you.
Sorry.
I've flown 49 flights this year, and I'll have another 8 this month. Why?
Damn.
God. I just assume everything will go wrong and build a big buffer in my schedule, like a 1 hour New Orleans to Houston that became 6.5 hours.
Oh, that sucks. Sorry, Angie.
Yeah.
Watch the weather. Go first.
You just drive at that point.
Yeah.
Connor Custer says, been a while. Happy to see y'all still grinding.
Thanks, Connor.
So to speak.
Yeah.
Not that kind of channel.
$2 is $2, bro. Just kidding.
We will read anything.
Thanks,
for $2.
I'll bill y'all.
Yeah. All right, folks. That's the end. That's it.
Incredible.
We've reached the end.
Dude. Thank you so much for coming on the show, dude.
I'm your Yeah, I really enjoyed it, guys. It was a lot of fun.
We'll have you on again, man. I can't tell you how many times I'm like, this is like, we'd be talking about something over. I'm like, we need to call Skid.
We'll get over here get back over here for some Thai food.
Yeah, 100%, man.
Yeah.
Moober won't go, but I'll go.
I'll go to that egg place.
Hey, why don't you guys invite me over to Keesler for some training?
Come on over. We'll get we'll get you a picture in a 130, man, so Mover can blast that all over the dude. Come on.
Yeah. Hey, Gonky, where do you put your box lunch?
In the back with the rest of the trash.
He's even got the risky business sunglasses.
He's ready.
He's got.
Dude, it was sunny that day.
Is that risky business or Rain Man? What sunglasses?
Risky business. Risky
business. Is it risky business?
Yeah, Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Who's the submarine commander?
This is the.
Remember that?
He's the Temu Tom Cruise. See, when you order your Top Gun off a Wish, you get it in a C-130.
Mover, I am never sending any photo of me in or around any aircraft ever again.
Oh, dude.
The 4 fans of freedom, Gonky. 4 fans.
It might happen. You never know.
Okay. Good night, everybody. We love you.
Yeah, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us tonight.
See you next week.
Enjoyed it,
guys.
God bless.